y'all. Today is January the 2nd and I am making, believe it or not, I know it's not time of year normally to do this, but I'm making corned beef and cabbage. Normally that's a St. Patrick's Day meal, but we like to have it all the time. One reason we like to have it is because we'll have corned beef and cabbage one night, and then the next day we get to have a real treat because that's when I make homemade Reuben sandwiches, and they are delicious. So we're having company tomorrow for lunch, so we're going to make the Reuben sandwiches tomorrow. So tonight we're having corned beef and cabbage, and our leftover corned beef will go in those sandwiches tomorrow and be scrumptious. So let me show you what you buy. It's a corned beef brisket. This is the flat cut, and you can see there it is in this package. So I'm gonna cut the package open and put it over here on the, I'm gonna turn the camera down a little bit so y'all can see what I'm doing. All right, so I'm going to cut this open, but I'm going to do it on top of a sheet pan just because there's going to be a lot of juice that runs out of this. The thing you're looking for once you get it cut open though is not only to get the meat out, but there's a little flavor packet in there. We definitely want that. Hey there, I'm back. The meat has been simmering for 3 hours. It still has about a half an hour to go. So at this point, I'm going to add some new potatoes, which I just took some new potatoes and just kind of halfway peeled them around the edges. And I'm going to dump those in. Ooh, be careful doing that. That hot water splashes. And then I'm going to gently push these cabbages. This is just a cabbage that I took and cut into wedges, and I'm just putting it down in the pot around the meat. And I'll show this to y'all in just a minute. I'll bring the camera over. I'll do it now so you can see the meat down in there. There's the meat, cabbage, and the potatoes. And I'm just going to keep squishing this other cabbage. I may have to cut some of these a little bit smaller pieces and put in there. And then these will simmer for the last 30 minutes together, and then the potatoes should be tender and the cabbage done as well. And then we'll just take it up and serve it. In the meantime, I'm also making a squash casserole. I've got my squash and onions simmering together until they get really good and tender. And then I'll be adding some other ingredients to that. Hold on a second, let me get this in here and covered back up. Back up to a boil and you can see it. Let me show you what I've done over here with the squash and onions. Hold on a second. I've just got squash and onions simmering together here in this pot. This was some frozen squash, but you could use fresh squash and just add a little water and onion and let it simmer until it's just really tender. And then we're going to put that together in a little casserole dish with some sour cream and butter and cheese. So that'll be another side dish to go with this meal. So that all means we'll have a really good dinner tonight, and then tomorrow we get to have the Reuben sandwiches. So I will catch back up with you in just a little bit when I start to assemble that squash casserole, and we'll be checking on the corned beef and the cabbage and make sure those potatoes are done. Hey y'all, I'm back. I've got the ingredients together here to put that squash casserole together. I want to get it in the oven so that it gets done about the same time the corned beef and cabbage is done. So here's the squash. It's squash and onions that I just kind of boiled together until they were super tender, so they're still hot. I'm going to add a half a stick, see that steam? I'm going to add a half a stick of butter melted into that. Stir that in. Then I'm going to add a half a cup of mayonnaise. And then I'm going to add a half a cup of sour cream, which I think that's just about all that's left in this carton, but let me measure it just to make sure. Okay, so here's half a cup of sour cream going in. I know it might be hard for y'all to see and hear this. It's in a white bowl. I need to get me some different colored bowls so y'all can see what I'm doing better. But got that going in. Now that's cooled off just a little bit. Now I can add the egg because it requires 1 egg. I'm going to put it in this other bowl. Beat it up a little bit. Then dump it in. For some salt and pepper, I'll add about a teaspoon, that was about half a teaspoon, because this is a 1/4 measure. And then got 16 Ritz crackers in here. I'm just going to crush them up really good. It's about half of a sleeve of crackers that I actually counted it out this time, so I know that I had it right. Pretty squished. I'm going to save this bag because we're going to do it again for a topping. This actually goes in the recipe. And then I've got a cup of grated cheddar cheese that's going in. So stir all this together. It's good enough to eat already. It smells good too. Taken a casserole dish, sprayed it with cooking spray, and now I'm going to just pour this down in it. Get it in the oven and let it bake for about 30 to 35 minutes. So it's bubbly. Well, sorry, I'm going to put the topping on it first. Wait a minute. Got that nice and smooth in there. So you can see. Now I'm going to take this baggie, put the rest of those crackers in it. And of course, they don't want to come out. In the middle of the pack. They get crunched up wherever, put them in the baggie. Yeah, they can make armored cars out of the packaging that they put these Ritz in. Okay. Now, squish again. to the top. And it evenly. There's a big chunk. It gets squished. All right, now then. Now y'all can see it's covered with the crumbs. So it's going to go straight here in the oven, which is set at 350. Put my timer on 30 to 35 minutes, and I'll get back with you as soon as it's ready. Hey y'all, I'm back, and it is smelling great in here. I've got the squash casserole coming out of the oven right now, and it looks squash and smells divine. Look at that. Does that look good or what? So that's ready. Boom. Now let me turn you around this way. Hopefully you can see this pot pretty good. This is the steam. Okay, bring you over here where you can see it better. But that is the cabbage and potatoes and the corned beef. So I'm going to lift the corned beef out and let it settle for just a few minutes, and then we'll slice it up and it'll be delicious for dinner. And y'all, that cabbage is wonderful because it's been cooking in the juice with all those spices, so it tastes much better than regular cabbage. So you'll have to try it. I'm going to pause this while I get that meat out of the pan and start slicing it, and then I'll be right back with you. Okay, I have taken the corned beef out of the pan. You can see how pretty it's sliced up. You always cut it across the grain. The cabbage, the potatoes are just nice and fork tender. You can see I can just slide a fork right in there. So I'm going to taste this corned beef right now and let you know how. Hey y'all, I just went back and previewed this video, and it seems that one of the first sections when I was just putting the corned beef in the Dutch oven, it got cut off because a phone call came through. So I just wanted to tell you what I did. I took that corned beef, put it over into the pot, and then there was a seasoning packet that was in there with the corned beef. I just cut it open, sprinkled it over the corned beef, and then covered the whole thing with water, and then put it over on the stove to boil. So I think that was all you really missed there. This meal is looking delicious, and Bob has set the table, and we're about ready to eat. So y'all have a happy new year, and I hope you're enjoying this holiday weekend. And I know you're probably dreading going back to work on Monday, but we all have to do it. All right. See y'all. Love you. Bye-bye.